Hi and welcome back to my channel. So this is tutorial number 2 for cost estimation for smaller and medium contractors. Just to mention, in the first video I tried to show a little about main chapters in our projects and under chapters. And I thought a little bit about bank of resources. But for them who are not so familiar with these things, I suggest you watch first my previous video. Yes, so we can continue now with calculation here. So as we were already in this first sub chapter, surveying preparation, so we can continue directly with the site preparation drift costs. As I said in the first video, all these chapter preparation general costs can be really big costs. As you can see here, it makes like 25% of whole cost of whole project. But there's so many things that we can just not think about. So don't be rush. Just use your time and think very carefully about all these processes here. So it's very important to define first all costs and to use resources in proper way from your bank, of course. So site and preparation and drift costs. We must prepare for all projects. So building site assembling means that we must transport and assemble a lot of things. So not to forget something, I try to make some underlines here, these light orange ones. Just not for be sure not to forget something. So I have to transport equipment first. So I can use some dumper, estimate amount of hours, 20 hours for here. And I have defined unit price at 100 euros per hour. Of course, it's defined with resource number 51.1, and as you can remember, maybe 51, all machines must be under the number 5, so it's here. You can always think about road taxes because in all major cities in Europe and I suppose all over the world, you must pay some road taxes, which we should not think about. But in 4 or 5 months of project, it can be very big money here. So just think about that. So I estimated 4 times that I must use the road tax, about 10 euros here. So for transport of machines, I cannot use my dumper. I must engage some subcontractor here. So I will use some transport entrepreneur, both for machines and barracks and containers here. And as you can see in resource number, it's really important to hold to right number. So number 4 is reserved for subcontractors. Here. After that, I have site preparation and leveling. So the point is to use excavator. We can discuss about capacity, but we have to buy some aggregate also. This is for transport, dumper and road tax, and one ground worker will help about all the job. But one thing here, this excavator is just the usual diesel excavator. Many of major cities in Europe have very strict regulation now about CO2 amount at your building site. So it may be that you must use some other type of excavator, for example, with biodiesel or biogas, or maybe even electrical. Um, it will, of course, uh, just um, just use a much higher price here. But maybe not just that. Electric excavators can have little lower capacity than usual ones. So I have this column here for capacity factor, where you can reduce or empower these capacities for machines. So just think about it. As for that, then capacity factor 1.8. Why it's used here? Because aggregate price comes always as ton price. So 8 euros are not per cubic meter, but per ton. So as to get tons, I used 1.8, and I have a right price here. Next one is connecting infrastructure. So I must connect to water and sewage system. I must use plumber as resource. The same with electrical power, where I must use electrician, and of course must connect to data infrastructure. And at the end there comes site fencing, with building fence of 2 meters, which must be used around your site. Yes, ground worker, and of course dumper or road tax for transport. Excavator just to help. Next underline, actually next post, drift and executive costs are actually really big, and it can be, you can think about this, just this line, about 10 to 20% of all costs here. So it's some it's not always like that, but it should be in these levels. You must think about bank warranty, which is about 10% of all process. So I haven't used it here, but now I can, because I didn't have total amount. Now I can use just about 40,000. Yes, I'll just here. Monthly costs. You must think about all costs. So water and sewage, electric costs, cabinets, which you must use, maybe 2 pieces, data, offices and barracks, aerial rent, working containers, and other things. So that comes interesting thing with the salary to your engineers. So you must have project manager. It just depends how much time do you want to have him here. So as you can see, I estimated the whole process till 4 months, all projects. I'll show a little later how did I estimated that. But project manager have not been used like 100% of his time here. It can lead about 3 or 4 projects at the same time. So I use just 30% of these 4 months. Site manager will be used full-time for projects, 4 months. So site engineer can be used like 20% of work. As for surveyor, it cannot be defined by month like other engineers. There's many reasons for that. Main reason is it can be external, for example. So we have health and safety manager, like 30% of job, and the quality manager for 20 hours. if our processes go through the winter time, we have to use some extra hours for winter. So I choose to use, it's up to you to estimate this, but I chose to use dumper for 30 hours, the same as a heating of container, excavator, and ground worker. So these hours are extra. We can use them, maybe we will not use them, but it's best to think about it. If it's summertime, just forget about this part. I summarize all these things here in line for this post 122. So we come to building site dismantling. In the end of project, actually it's opposite way that we have in process 121. So just think about all the all the works you have to do about dismantling with the same resources. And as for coordination, it can be actually very complicated in some projects. If we have side projects or electric power company with some little stuff and lines, we have to excavate nearby. Also with water and sewage, data provider and traffic officials, maybe police. So you have to think about these things. Actually, it's job usually to site manager, and I just wrote it here. It's included in these 4 months for site manager. But if it's not, maybe it can be clever to use a little bit of hours here. And yeah, it comes to temporary traffic change in these kinds of projects. So you must think about traffic plan. You must use some certified entrepreneur for this. Subcontractor is defined as subcontractor, as you see. Maybe 4 times you will change your traffic plan. That's something you must estimate and ask for price, of course. Temporary road. Sometimes you must make some temporary road, and you'll of course use some aggregate, maybe some crushed asphalt. It's up to you to estimate. But if it's aggregate from outside, you must use also dumper and trailer with road taxes. Of course, there comes excavator and ground worker for this. And you'll need to have some traffic barriers. So it's up to project, but it can be kinds of mini guard, New Jersey, or combination of these, or some third kind. You have to have building fence because you must around actually all the place, and maybe a little extra to be safe to all people at sidewalk. Excavator and ground worker will use be here. So there comes dismantling of existing elements in next sub chapter, which is the last subchapter in first part. There comes traffic signs, pavement, and cable infrastructure. So we can begin to work, actually. All those things you have to think before you begin to work. So it will cost so much of total price. To see what comes next, just please subscribe and go directly to my next video. Thank you for watching. See you.